I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Look, in normal times, we would all as a country rally together and say the conduct of Donald Trump in stealing thousands of records, many of which are the most sensitive records in our nation, and obstructing justice and putting these records, which include nuclear codes and military operations and other military planning, in showers and bathrooms and in auditoriums that are open in a resort like Mar-a-Lago, we'd come together and we go, that is bad conduct that needs to be called out because it places the lives of Americans at risk. It places, frankly, the world at risk from the forces of evil. But here you have a modern day Republican Party that is, alas, simply a cult. Does whatever Donald Trump tells them to do, and it's really, really sad to see. I want to show you what happened earlier on Monday, where Marjorie Taylor Greene went to the floor of the House of Representatives to give a speech where she called for an appropriations rider to defund Special Counsel Jack Smith and the Special Counsel's office. So I'm going to play this video for you, and then I will comment on it as soon as it's done. But play the clip.
Thank you. Today, I'd like to announce that I'm writing an appropriations rider to defund Jack Smith's special counsel, his office, and the investigation. This is a weaponized government attempt to take down the top political enemy and leading presidential candidate of the United States, Donald J. Trump. We cannot allow the government to be weaponized for political purposes. I'd also like to ask all of my colleagues to join me in this effort. We have to use the power of appropriations to stop the weaponization of government, especially in light that we know that there are others who are guilty of true crimes. Never forget that former Secretary of State and Senator Hillary Clinton had classified documents on Anthony Weiner's laptop, who was convicted of sexting a minor inappropriate pictures. This is not how classified documents should be handled. There should have been an investigation done into that. Don't forget Joe Biden's documents that are sitting in his garage next to his Corvette where the door opens and closes. America sees this for exactly what it is, and we will not allow it to stand. I yield back the remainder of my time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And notice what Marjorie Taylor Greene says there. She accuses Special Counsel Jack Smith of weaponizing the Department of Justice, and that's why she says that Jack Smith's office needs to be defunded, without any self-awareness, of course, that she's using fascist tactics, that the true weaponization is taking place by the modern-day Republican Party, which is using government to hoist Donald Trump, the Republican cult leader, above the law to attack Special Counsel Jack Smith's office. There's nothing politicized about what Special Counsel Jack Smith did. What is politicized is what the Republicans do every day to say Donald Trump is above the law when he's absolutely not. If you want to go through the indictment that was unsealed recently, that a grand jury of Donald Trump's peers in Miami, in a federal court in Miami, that they voted to indict Donald Trump on 37 separate counts, 38 overall counts in the recently unsealed indictment, you'll see that at each and every turn, Donald Trump had the opportunity just to follow the law, return the documents, be transparent, comply, follow the law. But for Donald Trump and the Republicans who support him, they view that he's above the law. And so you hear people like Marjorie Taylor Greene go and give House floor speeches saying they want to defund the FBI, defund the Department of Justice, defund here Special Counsel Jack Smith's office because of the fact that Donald Trump is being held accountable for violations of the law. Here's another clip I'm going to play for you. Leader of Republicans in the House of Representatives, the weakest Speaker of the House in American history, Kevin McCarthy, is asked a very basic question. Like, do you think it's dangerous what Donald Trump did. Like, do you believe that this is a problem, that Donald Trump was showing people military operations who didn't have security clearance after Donald Trump left the office, and that Donald Trump kept the documents the way he did and obstructed justice? Is that a problem? And watch what Kevin McCarthy does. Play this clip.
Was that a good look for the former president to have boxes in a bathroom?
I don't know. Is it a good picture to have boxes in a garage that opens up all the time? A bathroom door locks.
Yeah, history's not going to look kindly on Kevin McCarthy. I'm reminded of what Liz Cheney said, which is, there will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain. How dishonorable to refuse to ask or answer a very simple question like that. But look, this is a very, very, very they become a very evil political party. It's sad. Become a very fascist party where stuff like this is what happens on a daily basis. Here is one of the MAGA Republican influencers, a former top Donald Trump advisor, Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, who was pardoned by Donald Trump for the We Build the Wall scam after he was indicted by the feds. Steve Bannon, who is currently being prosecuted by the state of New York in Manhattan for the We Build the Wall scam that he was pardoned for by Donald Trump. Steve Bannon, who is convicted of obstruction of Congress, or contempt of Congress rather, on 2 misdemeanor counts. Steve Bannon interviewing Rudy Giuliani, whose legal license is suspended, and Giuliani, whose lies about everything, who's a clear, my view, co-conspirator in everything that happened in the January 6th insurrection. Here's what they talk about with respect to Bill Barr. They say, Bill Barr is a traitor. Bill Barr has committed treason because Bill Barr says that this indictment is serious. Play this clip.
And Bill Barr, you can sit up there and say it's a great case. We're going to shove this up your ass, okay? We're going to shove it up your ass. You are freaking guilty of treason. Big old, you're guilty of treason, and Ray's guilty of treason.
And here's the thing, that all Republicans, I think, are realizing or need to realize. First the MAGA Republicans will come for this marginalized group, then they'll come for that marginalized group. And, as the saying goes, well, you didn't do anything because you weren't part of that group. You didn't do anything because you were part of that group. But then when they call Bill Barr a rhino, when they say Bill Barr is helping liberals or Bill Barr, it just shows you how disingenuous they are in general, that it is all gaslighting and lies for their cult. And why? Because Bill Barr says that this indictment is damaging. It's an objective fact, like the sky is blue. But in MAGA Republican world, you've got to say there is no sky. What's the sky? The sky is the deep state, and stupid stuff like that. Because you got people like Kari Lake. Kari Lake, one of their leaders, she goes, 300 million Americans support Donald Trump because of the indictment. What? Here, play this clip.
Lay a finger on our president, President Trump. They're going to have to come through me. And I made a mistake. I said 75 million others just like me. I think it's more like 300 million others just like me. The people in this country who support President Trump, who know what's up.
And again, everything these people spew is a complete and utter lie. This is Don Jr.'s fiance, which now makes her a major leader in the Republican Party because she's the fiance of a Trump. And that's why she speaks at the Republican National Convention. The best is yet to come. It's just absurd. And here, Kimberly Guilfoyle just completely lies about what the Presidential Records Act stands for and claims that the Presidential Records Act trumps, pun intended or no pun intended, the Espionage Act and obstruction of justice. I mean, everything she's saying is just factually wrong. Like, it just lies. But here, play this clip.
And as it relates to the law, President Trump doesn't need to get permission from a federal bureaucrat to declassify anything that he chooses. And he doesn't need permission to have a copy of his records in the office of the former president. You've heard a lot about the Espionage Act and heard all of the bluster from special counsel Jack Smith. But there's another law called the Presidential Records Act that undercuts the entire argument. Any record the president or his staff creates or receives in their official duties or capacity is a presidential record. Translation: Donald Trump had the right under the law to maintain custody of his records, whether they were classified or not. So what we're really dealing with is just another example of Democrat prosecutors creating new legal theories to weaponize the law against Donald Trump.
And so, folks, what we always talk about here, as you know now on the MeidasTouch Network, is this shouldn't be a political issue, whether you're conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican. We should all look at the objective reality here, which is Donald Trump's conduct is unlawful. Donald Trump's conduct is illegal. Donald Trump's conduct has caused real serious national security issues that could result in, and may have already resulted in, imperiling our troops and our assets and people who live here in our country. And it's enough. Enough is enough. And so let's rally around in this pro-democracy coalition and let's call out this Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kevin McCarthy, Steve Bannon, Kari Lake, Kimberly Guilfoyle nonsense. We're better than this as a nation. So spread these videos, share the message, let people know what's going on. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.